Hello and welcome to part 3 of this knowledge-based tutorial, and in this one we are looking at the ways to search for articles on the client through a call, through browsing, through association and through a self-service. So what I'm going to do is just take you through these 5 different methods in the ability to search for your articles. So we're going to go into our client here and switch straight across to our knowledge-based view. And the first one that we're going to go through here is the searching based on the client. So if you were an analyst and you need to find a particular article, what you would do is one of the options here is to actually go to the search area on the left-hand side, and you have the ability to search for individual words. So you've got a few different methods. You've got the natural language query, which effectively you can type in a question such as there is a problem with paint, and what that'll do is that'll pick out keywords that it's picked up from articles and only search on them. So it might discard a and is and there, like your generic sort of words, to make sure it brings back a relevant document or article. You also have the ability to search on all words, so that means that obviously if you're searching for paint and error 1001, you'll need to make sure that each one of these will actually appear in an article. You've also got any words, so if you wanted to be kind of generic and having more words in here that could potentially be on the document, or errors, then you can also do that. So just to show you a search, you can see that the elements in here that it's going to search for is within the keywords, within the title, within the problem and the solution text. So you can actually select less of these if you purely wanted to search based on keyword or a title, purely because obviously your problem text or solution text may contain the same word like error. For this demonstration I'm going to keep all of them ticked, and I'm going to choose to search on the entire knowledge base. However, you can just search on particular catalogues if you want to narrow down your searches. You also have the ability to limit the search results to a particular number. So if I just search for paint using the word search all words must match and click on search, then we have found our article there. One thing I have to say at this point is that the minimum character length for these words is 4 characters. So if I was to search for SAP, it won't find anything, although I know that there is a SAP article in there. So that brings me on to the second area, the way you can search for your articles, in that you can click on browse, and we've gone through this in our previous tutorials as well. And if you go to the actual catalogues themselves, you can click on them and you can browse down each of the catalogues to see what articles are in there, and obviously you can sort it by title or date or reference number if you wish to do so. So as you can see in our SAP articles catalogue, we do actually have a title of SAP. So the reason why that wasn't appearing when I did the previous search was purely because of the 4 character length minimum. And that's purely to help with performance and obviously your kind of results that you're getting back. You don't want to have a mixture of different articles which are not going to be relevant to you. So the next way that we're going to search for articles is we're going to do it based on a call. So I'm just going to open up the log new incident form, and you have a few different options under the find solution button here. So you have knowledge base search based on profile, based on summary and based on description. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the profile of software paint, click OK, then I'm just going to minimize that a little bit and just go find solution on profile. That's then done our search automatically for us in the background here, and it's brought up all of the articles related to that paint profile. Now, one thing I do need to make clear at this stage is when you're creating your articles, I may have mentioned this in the previous two tutorials, is when you go into the article, you can see that I've added the actual code. So it's actually searching for the code of the profile rather than the description. So you can see in the search area, it has actually put in here the code of the profile that it's automatically searched for. So I've gone back to entire knowledge base, so it's selected all of the words there. I'm also now going to type in paint into the summary to show that you can search based on a summary. So gone back to MS Paint there. Let's go back to entire knowledge base, and then finally I'll show that you can also do that based on description. So that's bringing back the same results. So that's how you would do it from a call. The next way that you would do this from is from self-service. So I'm just going to log into the portal. I just log out of this session and then log back in as our test customer. And as you can see on the left hand side here, you've got Knowledgebase. So if I click on that, so it gives us the same sort of searches that we've seen on the client here on the left hand side with the search. So it's given us the same search methods for the natural language and all words and any words, and same information that we want to search for, what catalogs. So effectively, if I did the same thing, I search for all words and search for paint, entire knowledge base, click on search, then it's found our paint article. Now, if you wanted to set up some settings here to ensure that maybe always all words must match, or maybe always you want to set it to search for SAP articles, or you might not want your customer base to actually search on other catalogs. You can set this up through the general settings. So if I go to File, Manage Settings and General Settings, then into System Settings, I'm just going to change the filter by setting type at the top left here to Knowledge. And down at the bottom you can see 4 rights here for the ability to change the search scope. So if I set this to false, then that'll effectively grey out the abilities to select a separate catalogue. And if I set this one to false, which is changing the search type, so that's for the entire knowledge base, or sorry, for the actual language query or all words or any words. So again, you can set a default here in terms of what you want them to search for, whether it to be entirely knowledge base. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this one to say all words, so that'll make sure that when your customers log on to their portal, it will search on all words by default. So I'm just going to save changes and log out and then back in again. And then click on knowledge base. So you can see that by default it's appeared with all words must match. I can't actually change that. I'm clicking on it. It's nothing's dropping down. And that's the same for the actual scope here. It's not allowing me to unselect this entire knowledge base, which means that you'll always get consistent results. So one more setting in regards to self-service that I wanted to show you is on the administration menu and manage self-service configurations. We would have gone through this in the tutorials around self-service. However, I just wanted to show you one more time that you can force a knowledge-based search when you're logging a incident from your portal, and that will go through exactly the same search method that we have just seen. And the enable knowledge base here, if this was unticked, then the knowledge base on the left hand side here on the view would disappear. So moving on to the last method in terms of searching for your articles. One way that you can do this is if you're searching based on a CI or an association. So if we go into our CMDB and configuration items, I have one CI in here, and what you have based on services and CIs is the ability to associate a article. So if you know that a particular problem is to do with a CI, a laptop server maybe, then effectively you can come into the CI, see what articles are actually associated to it, so you know exactly what steps you need to follow to fix a particular problem. Maybe have different errors down here. You know what you need to do. So you don't need to run a search or anything. You can just go to the CI itself and have a look and see what articles you have and knowledge you have around this particular CI or asset. So here you can access it by clicking on View, or you can search and associate for an article just by running a search here. So just to show you, it's exactly the same with services. If I go to File, Service, Portfolio, and Services, and then enter my test service here, you have the same tab, and it's the same functionality. You can search and associate a article and effectively view it from that area as well. So that's all for this particular section. We're going to look at the advanced settings around your articles in the next tutorial.